So it's really confusing, and I feel like nobody's really done a complete and thorough review of what happened in California over the last few years. So I'd like to start with 2018 with the passing of Senate Bill 10. Could you please let my viewers know exactly what Senate Bill 10 was and how it affected the bail bond industry?
Yeah, so it actually goes a little bit further back than 2018. I believe it's actually 2017 when you had Senate Bill 10 along with its companion bill, AB42, which was basically, it's the same bill and either one is in the Assembly, one's in the Senate. When they pass, they cross like that and go to the other houses. And the idea is if one of them dies, the other one's still alive. So there's actually two bills back in 2017. And a lot of people kind of forget that, but it was Assembly Bill 42 that was actually beaten in the Assembly by a lot of the moderate Democrats voted that down. And what both of these bills basically did was eliminated the commercial bonding business and replaced it with a system of pretrial release and incorporating, things like ankle monitors, drug testing, those types of things as conditions of release along with that. And I don't think it incorporated the use of risk assessments at that point. It was really more of just a pretrial services type of bill, but it would have done away with bail. And so what happened at that point was after AB 42 died in the Assembly, Senate Bill 10 just kind of stayed there at the end of 2017. And they didn't really take it out of committee. It just kind of, in California, I believe bills can go on for a couple of years. And so what ended up happening in 2018 is that we sat and we watched, and Senate Bill 10 just kind of sat there. Nothing was going on. Our lobbyists were letting us know nothing was really going on. It just kind of sat there. And it was interesting at the very end of the session, all of a sudden the bill comes out and they call it a mushroom bill, right? It happens in the dark of the night, and the next day there's suddenly like a mushroom there. And so that's what SB 10 kind of happened. And the interesting thing was what happened behind closed doors was a deal with the unions. So Senator Hertzberg went to the SEIU, and to simplify it a lot, it was basically, listen, could you guys use 15,000 jobs? I can give you 15,000 jobs if you can get me a yes vote on SB 10. And the SEIU, which, probation and parole is part of that larger union group, I believe, that they said, sure. And next thing you had, it was the bill came out, boom, it passed like that before anyone realized what was going on. And you now had eliminated commercial bail in the state of California and replaced it with basically a public sector union solution. And as part of that solution was the use of the incorporation and the widespread use of these risk assessments. And what happened was right when the bill came out and they announced that the risk assessments were going to be part of it, that's when all of the social justice groups, NAACP, and a lot of these other groups really said, well, hold on, we want bail reform, but we don't want these risk assessments because all these studies that are coming out right now are telling us that these risk assessments are racially biased. In fact, it's not just racially biased, they're gender biased now, we're finding out in recent studies. So there's a lot of issues with these risk assessments, and it really comes down to all the studies that are being done that says it's the information that you're putting in. If that information has any sort of racial bias in it, then the output you're going to get is going to have racial bias in it. So there really is no real clean way to do this. And I think that's what turned all the social groups off of SB 10 and kind of turned them into, well, we don't want this bill to pass. It did. And then that led us to kind of the next efforts with, what eventually became Proposition 25.